If we would have to rebuild society after everything that we once knew was gone, what would that look like? Good morning and welcome to the 7th episode in this series. Today we are going to leave the safe surroundings of our settlement and follow the road from the gas station into the woods behind it to do some scavenging. Now I'm really excited about this part because it's a core element of this challenge, and I think I've talked about the dice rolls and the RNG elements a few times now, but today it is finally time to put it all into action and make it come to life. We are also finally going to assign jobs now that we've had the first meeting around the campfire. So our survivors will start leaving the lot for the first time to go to work on building the town, and we'll take a look at the building points too. So let's start by joining them during the campfire meeting this morning. In this first meeting, right at the start, there are already some quite important questions that the survivors ask each other, like how are we going to survive in the long run? Where will we stay if we are going to make this our home? When will I have my privacy back again, and how do we know we are safe? And it immediately becomes clear that there are as many opinions as there are survivors. It is also quite clear that the many different opinions are not based on the most essential point. They do all agree that knowledge is what is most important in this new world. Knowing how to rebuild, how to survive, how to make a living. But the disagreements start when the subject arises of how to use that knowledge in the future. Will we rebuild and go back to how things were? Do we want to explore new technologies? What is more important, education or strength? Do we fear or embrace strangers when they cross our paths? They conclude the meeting, however, in an agreement, surprisingly, that for now the most important aspects to focus on are building houses, researching how to best use the land that is available to them. They will keep searching for new ways to regain knowledge that society once had, and they will keep communicating with each other about all of the possibilities. And they will keep exploring the area to see if they can find more treasures and more survivors. Now, when it comes to building the houses, Comey and Brandon volunteer to start on that project together. Neither of them have any experience in the field, but they seem the most capable to handle that job. On the subject of researching how to use the land, Kennedy says that he wants to be a bit more fit before he goes out to do his research in the field. He is afraid he might encounter wild animals and he doesn't feel like he has enough strength to handle that yet. But after a few more days of training, he would be willing to take on that job. Then, making and communicating their plans, they all trust John with this role, and there is little to no disagreement that he should continue, although both Sandy and Comey did mumble something nobody heard clearly, so they let that pass, and we'll leave it at that. John tells them he is going to spend one more day drafting his ideas before he will go out into the world, and he asks Abhijit, who has a degree in architecture, to help him with that, to which he agrees. And lastly, exploring the area, Brenda says that she is working up the courage to go out there alone and needs at least one more day to prepare. But after that she will go out on her own to search for resources in the wilderness. So that concludes the first meeting, and we will give these Sims their corresponding jobs when we start playing them this morning. But first, let's see how they started their day, because the last episode ended around 8 p.m. on the previous evening, and because so many unexpected things happened in that episode, I had to cut it short. So let's take a look at what our survivors did in the meantime, and what we've missed. John has been studying his geodes with great determination. He even stayed up most of the night so he could fully dedicate his time and attention to it during those nightly hours when the house was quiet. He is now really close to gaining that much needed logic skill point. I've also got a new toy, meaning I've got a new mod, which will give me a way to check their skills in-game, so we are going to get rid of those overhead meters. I had gotten used to playing without them in other neighborhoods, and now that there is another way to track the skill progress, we don't need them here anymore either. Brandy has been taking care of the garden and the plants look much better now, or actually she and Christy have been taking turns caring for the plants and preparing the mashed berries and cooking meals. There is also a bug spray in the shed that can be used to keep the vermin away for now, so luckily we can also spray them to keep them alive, which we'll see Christy do later. It is however not an endless supply, so we are going to have to find new spray and develop better fertilizer later on. And speaking of dedication and determination, even after the events of the last episode, Melissa has spent almost the entire night on hands and knees trying to pull apart this old dishwasher. She is convinced that the old motor in this thing might be used to build a wind turbine, and even though the others are skeptical and there are no real mechanics around with that knowledge, she's like, I don't care how long it takes, I will figure this thing out and I will show you. As you might have seen, she even worked all through the campfire meeting, listening with one ear to what the others were saying. So yeah, she is pretty much exhausted now and she needs some coffee. But she is also very, very close to gaining that 5th point in the tinkering skill, which is going to give us Dee Dee's workbench. And by now, I desperately want that. Brenda has been practicing her charisma skill in the mirror, and she is going to need a few more points before she can start her job as a relic liberator, setting the first steps in the direction of a steady supply of crafting points coming their way. She is very adventurous, but she does need to work up courage to go out into the wilderness alone, as we just heard at the campfire meeting. But when she gets those skill points, we are going to give her a job in that adventure field. We woke up Abhijit around 10 PM in the evening to get a head start on crafting components. I think he is really starting to enjoy these quiet nightly hours alone in the shed. So far he's been our only mechanic and he's been in charge of crafting all the new items around the settlement. This morning he worked on a few new designs that he will be showing the others later today, so stay tuned for that because we are going to add a few more cool items this episode. Quiet nightly hours are also perfect for organizing, so we did some item management and putting away some items that we found on earlier scavenging runs to make space for the new. The storage area is becoming quite full now, so hopefully there will be a solution for that soon. And after all that hard work, I think Abhijit looks satisfied with the growing number of components that he can use. So we'll be seeing lots more of his work. We also woke up Christy around midnight to spray the garden plants and keep them from dying. She's also made another batch of coffee, which we are going to use when the others come home, because most of them have worked through the night and they will need all the energy that they can get if they are to start working again after only a short nap. And then last but definitely not least, before we jump into the RNG part and the scavenging gameplay, we woke up Sandy, our second academic of this community. Being an academic means mostly that these sims roll for logic skill points at the beginning, which are very rare and hard to come by. But it also means that they have a curious mind and are the first sims to think of new ways to do things. So when they arrived here, this building was a huge mess, and it basically still is. But Sandy has been looking around the settlement for a few days now, searching for items that they can use, and she has found a cauldron in the shed that she believes could be used to make soap for washing their laundry. So she calls Abhijit and they are going to dive into the shed together. And I thought it might be fun to join them so we can see what they are cleaning up and what sort of items they will find under the trash. So let's join them together and see what they're gonna do. And of course I had to let them have a short conversation first to talk about their plan of action before starting. Mainly because between all of the chores there has been little to no time for any social interactions or fulfilling wants and stuff. So their aspiration meters are starting to drop into the red area slightly. And some of them have wants to make friends. So I thought that would be a good opportunity to let them have a short conversation and maybe make a friend. So let's see how we want to do this. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. Some of it is really useful and some of it is definitely not. Okay, so let's just say that Abhijit is going to get all these leather straps because they are definitely useful in crafting. And I think he would also get this cement because they are going to be used in building later. We'll give them to the building crew. And anything that is where they cannot really interact with the item, that is just trash, we are going to just clean up. Because Sandy would have cleaned that up. And another pile of trash. And this is trash too. And this one on the other side. And I think this one. Yeah. And here are a few items again that can be used in hoops and stuff. So let's see, he can grab those. So let's see what we have left. There's a lot of useful items that Abhijit is going to take, and I think Brandy is coming this way. Yeah, here's Brandy in her pajamas. Well, that wasn't really planned, but now that she's here, the sugar bags can actually go into her inventory. So let's see if we can get her to grab these. And Abhijit can just grab all of the hoops and the wooden components. Oh, there's a box of nails in here. I think I might have, yeah, there are a few nails on the shelves too, so he can grab those too. And then Sandy, because the entire reason why she wanted to clean up the shed is because she saw this cauldron back here. And I think she would really like to grab that. But let's have her also grab the scythe. Okay. Let's wait for Abhijit to finish this. They do not get along. Let's see. Let's grab this. And Abhijit is going to move out of the way. So maybe now Sandy can access the scythe. Nope. Okay, we'll just... I guess this tray is in the way. There. So now we're almost done. I think Christy is cleaning up the fire, isn't she? Yes, she is. I just saw a sack of ashes coming, passing by. So yeah, we are going to send Brandy back to bed. I don't know why she got up. She was not really supposed to be awake yet. And I think Melissa is still going, but she could probably get the coffee that we just took out. We will want her to continue. She's at 4 points now, so she's almost there. So let's let her have a coffee before she continues, and then she'll probably need to use this too. Yeah, so back to the shed. Now that we're here, we have this cauldron, and we'll let's see. John can clean that up. We'll move this. Yeah, and this one can go on top of there, and we'll just put this here. And there's a rat trap. So hopefully that's enough to keep the rats away from the entire property. I'm going to give this, she can grab that. Well, let's do that. It's a poker for the fire, which would make sense. And this one is used for the laundry, so we'll get to that later. But yeah, let's move this. So now we've actually got some space in here. And I think that Sandy would just get this out, maybe here, and examine it. Because they are going to need a way to wash all their dirty laundry. So yeah, let's do that and then continue with all the other ingredients. All the other chores. So she can divide the crate of oil. That's actually a fat agent. And we know we've got ashes. So now that Christy is here, she can stock this with both ash and water. And I thought she would have some firewood too, but Marilena does. So when she comes back, she can put some firewood in there. So hopefully at the end of the day we can craft some soap, or John can do that, because he and Sandy are the ones with the logic skill. So they're the academics, so either Sandy or John will have enough skills to create soap. Because I think we have most of the ingredients right now, and with Melissa working so hard, we will probably also have slackline by the end of the day. So that means that we can craft soap and they can finally do their laundry. Because I've been letting the Sims pick it up. John has 5 laundry piles in his inventory, and I think Brandy has 27 or something. Yeah, 26. So they've got 30 piles of laundry. They could, of course, put it in here, but we'll get to the laundry later. But at least they'll have soap and they can get started on washing. So let's get back to the chores and the last things that we'll do before the morning campfire. So between the 2 a.m. cleaning of the shed and the 5 a.m. morning campfire where they had their meeting, only a few things happened. Christy made another batch of coffee and then went outside to light the fire and started watering the plants until the others came home. Sandy stuck the cauldron with the fat agents, with the oil that we found in the old storage. And I have to say, these early mornings with only a few survivors to control, slowly working on their chores has been a nice refreshment and a relaxing time between all of the other times where there are 12 survivors to control who, just like in any other Sims game, hardly ever do what I tell them to. So yeah, I really do like the calming and relaxing vibes of these mornings. After her coffee, when she was fully energized, Melissa went back to her obsession with the dishwasher. Abhijit went back to crafting on the workbenches. Sandy warmed herself on the campfire and had some quiet time alone to contemplate life. Brandy started making breakfast, omelets this time, from all the eggs that they found in the forest, so they finally have some variety in their diet. And John studied his geodes. He did that for the majority of the morning. We know he's been working on his logic skill and trying to use their environment to their benefit, but I think he secretly also really enjoyed spending so much time in the same room as Brandy. And then around 4 a.m. the scavenging crew with the woodcutters came home from the forest and joined the others around the campfire in the meeting that we started the episode with. So let's join these survivors after that meeting and get them ready for their start of the day at 7 a.m. Okay, so we are ready to get this day started. And today at 7 is also the time when these sims are going to be reset, because it's the end of the round or the start of a new round. And I want to add in some mods. I want to make some changes. So we are going to reset them. So any extreme values in their either their energy or their hygiene, I will take over to after the reset, because I want this to be like a fair challenge and no cheats at all. Let's pause the game because let's see, where is Brandon? Is he talking to Komei or trying to... Yeah, they are talking to each other. Okay. It's all just a bit cramped, I guess. So yeah, we are going to give them the jobs. And I think they start at 8 in the morning. We are going to assign jobs to Komei and Brandon. And I'm just going to use the sim blender for that. And I've actually got so the Sims 2 career architecture. You can see that, there it is. You can see that I've added in a few custom content careers, and there will be more because once the tech tree is finished, and it's like 98% finished right now. I just have to fill in one gap that I cannot decide on which career I want to be in that gap. So we are going to add in a few more custom content careers. We'll talk about all of that later. But right now I'm going to give him the architect career. I will link it in the description, but I've heavily changed a lot of the things about it. I changed the chance cards, I changed some of the texts. I just wanted to use it as like a step up before they can actually start in the bricklayer career job, which is what they're supposed to do. So yeah. And Brandon's also going to start in the architect career. I think their job is something like a job site laborer, and I really like the icon too. Not the most important thing, but I like the icon. So yeah, it's just because they are missing some skills, and until they have 3 skills in each of the things that they need, mechanical, body and creativity, we are going to keep them in that career. Once they get a promotion, they will be set to the original architecture career and they will start as bricklayers. But they are going to work on the houses once they leave. Or once they start their jobs, I should say. I am going to interrupt Brandon because not only do I want him to get his job, I also want him to finish the last drawing, so the table is empty today. Okay, let's see what level Komei received. Apprentice Builder. Yeah, and I really liked it. I didn't write this. I've rewritten the text for the chance cards, but not this one. You didn't think an unseen hand created houses out of thin air, did you? You've joined one of the teams that construct homes and stores for your neighbors. You're only an apprentice, but your foot's in the door, literally. Honestly, it's brilliant. It's just so fitting. And I think 200 it's reasonable. I'll show you at the end of the day what we're going to do with the money. With the crafting points. Let's see how Melissa is doing. She has stopped tinkering with this thing. So let's let her go back to that. And now it's 6 a.m. Let's see, what is Abhijit's? He is going to take out the trash. He is going to go take one more nap before the day starts. And before I forget, I think Marlena also had a female closet in here. So we are going to place it. Perfect. And let's not forget to sell some planks. So we'll sell 2 wooden components and 1 short plank, and that should do it. Let's see, we have 346 right now. We are going to need a lot more after Melissa is done with her stuff. So yeah, let's have her finish that, and we'll come back when she's done. Brandon is now just walking around. We have half an hour left, so let's see. Continue drafting the scene. You are not going to light the fireworks. Gomez is going to water the plants. Well, I don't mind him doing that. But he's still hungry, so he did get his coffee, but he could also grab a plate. And yeah, let's do that. Oh, and Brandy, she could take a nap right here. Please let Brandon through. Please let Brandon through. Thank you. Oh, what are you doing? Okay. You can go here and he's going to gussy up and take a nap. Okay. I don't think that Brandon needs more than only a few minutes to finish this. But we do want him to finish before 7 a.m. Otherwise the car is going to show up and we don't want that. There we go. Okay, we're going to pause here. 5 minutes left. This is really... I didn't know it would be like so close. So I'm going to leave the game. Oh, here it is. Here's the paint, the drawing. Yeah, it looks good. You can even see the little wheel back here. You can see that very clearly. Okay, and we should really do a drawing of the motorcycle back there. For some reason, I have it in my mind, and it's now my headcanon that John is a motorcycle guy. I don't know why, but we're definitely going to give him some kind of motorcycle in the future. Even if it's not functional, he just gotta have one. Yeah, so I'm going to leave the game, add in the mods, and we'll come back and we are going to start there Thursday, the first day of the second round. Oh, and one more piece of good news, I think. Melissa has reached her 5 points in tinkering, so we are going to build Didi's workbench, and yeah, that is going to be a major change and progress, at least for this very beginning. Oh, we've got water. Yeah, we are definitely going to wake up Christy and let her fetch water. Definitely. And we're back. So it's actually a few days later. I had some trouble with the mods. The things that I wanted didn't really work out, but in the end it all came together. So we have exactly what we want right now. As you can see, all the sims were reset. But I gave them the actions, what they were doing, and I adjusted their needs. So there's not really that much changed. We have a skilling sim right now. So if I click Kennedy and I click skills, I can see his exact amount of skills. So he's working on his body skill. He's got 3.27 body skill points. So yeah, we don't need the overhead meters anymore, and I really like that. I think it adds to the immersion, especially with the slower skilling mod. It's nice if you can see how far they are along the bar, and especially if you're waiting for them to gain a skill, like Brandon with his creativity, or John with his logic skill. So I think this is much better now. Oh, right, one more thing. It's a minor detail, but I accidentally gave Brandon a cooking skill instead of a creativity skill when I created him. So I changed that a while ago. So it might seem like he's earned his creativity skills really fast, but I gave him 1 point extra in creativity because he had a cooking point, which he's not supposed to have because he's a woodcutter, he's not a scavenger, so he doesn't roll for cooking skills. Okay, with that said, there's one more mod that I wanted to show you, and that is also just a minor change, I guess, but we have food hiders now. So Brandy can only make, any of the sims really, can only make meals that they have the ingredients for. So I did that by hand, obviously. It's not like an in-game mechanic where the game recognizes the ingredients for a certain dish. But seeing as they found all of these eggs in the trees, they should be able to make omelets. So, but not all of the other things. Cereal, pancakes, we have no milk. So I took all of those out, which means that she can now only make these meals. We don't have meat, but I left the bacon and cabbage in and the skirts and kidneys in. But other than that, this is like the entire variety of their diet. Dandelion salads, I think they should be able to make something like that with all of the things that they can find in the forest. Grandma's comfort soup, as I said in the beginning, like you can make a soup out of pretty much anything. And grilled corn and pumpkin soup are two things for more of a future addition. But yeah, they are at least in here for now. And salmon was mainly one of the few fish dishes that I wanted to have in here, but we'll maybe add a few more. Of course, cake and shortbread and stuff is not going to be here, and plum tart until Brandy starts baking things. And she won't do that for some time, but this at least eliminated all of the dishes that they are not going to cook anyway. There's also a mod that they won't get anything out of the fridge unless they are like starving. So that means that we really are sort of in charge of what foods are being prepared by only having one sim do that and only guiding her to do that every so often. Which reminds me that she should be cooking this morning. So she is going to make comfort soups after a short nap. We're also going to do something with the pantry quite soon, so we can get rid of this jar. And it needs to be empty for us to do that. So yeah, let's switch to Brandon and Komei. It's 4 minutes before they should be heading to work. So let's see. There's Brandon. He is going this way to walk to work. Perfect. And Komei should be following him. But I let him wash himself to get his mood a little bit higher before he goes to work. And there he goes. Perfect. So, and the best thing is they will also return walking home. Yeah, that's what we wanted. Christy is for some reason still in her pajamas. She's not really that dirty, so we're gonna let her walk around like this for a minute. And we gave her the poker, which means that she is going to maintain the fires autonomously now. So I thought it would be a good thing to let her collect branches, so she's not going to run out of those. There we go. And now it's getting close to 8 a.m., which is the time where survivors that are going to the quarry today are going to leave. Oh, and Brandy got a gardening badge. That's cool. Good. And I think Christy took the dried fish out of the rack. Yeah, that's perfect. We are not going to stock these in the fridge. We are actually going to do something else with those. We are going to give them to the first couple that is going to move out because they need exactly 300 points for their fridge. I'm so obsessed with the water, by the way. Let's get a few more buckets. So yeah, they need exactly 300 points. So we are going to give these to the first couple that is going to move out. And obviously we are going to need more fish for the second couple. But in time, that will come. Good, more water has been added. Abhijit is coming out to get the planks so we can get started on the crafting. And Kennedy has been cutting his logs into firewood. He has one more to go, and then he is probably going to pass out. I guess we'll just let that happen. I don't think we'll make it in time to send him to bed. Autonomous social interactions, meaning they are done with their chores. She does have the one to talk to someone. Let her have a chat with Christy and then let her tell a joke, because one of the other mods that I added is that they actually gain charisma skill every time they tell a joke, which I really, really like. Oh, we've got a chance card. Cool. So Brandon, while framing a house, Brandon whacks his thumb with a hammer. Should he release his agony with an ear-splitting screech of pain and a few choice swear words, or should he bite his tongue, feign coolness, and pretend he's not in pain? I think Brandon is the sort of sim that would scream, so let's pick that one. Brandon's blood-curdling shriek draws the attention of the entire crew. To Brandon's astonishment, they start applauding and congratulate Brandon on becoming one of the gang. Brandon's supervisor helps bandage the aching thumb. Brandon gains 2 charisma points. It's really a major skill gain, but I liked these chance cards, so I kept them in. There's no supervisor, but let's just say his co-worker, which is Kome. So yeah, he's got 2 charisma skill points right now, which really opens up the possibility to also let him join the political career, which would be nice because he actually has a major in political science, so that would make sense. Abhijit is working on the furniture. Let's see, Brenda. Yeah, so she is gaining charisma skill by telling jokes, which I think is a fun addition to ways to gain skills. But we are going to let her practice speech in front of the mirror. Kennedy just finished splitting the log and he is now going out back to relieve himself. Oh, and that's interrupted because he is almost going to pass out. So it looks like he's going to make it without passing out. So Brandy is making another batch of soup again. I am really looking forward to doing something with this pantry. It's probably going to be the next episode. I don't think we'll have time for that this episode. So let's see, Christy starting a new fire again also means that she was out of things to do, so we're going to send her to bed. She's still in her pajamas anyway. And yeah, we are a bit late because it's 10 a.m. now and I actually wanted to send him to the quarry at 8 a.m. but we're going to send him anyway. So Abhijit he's found the fireworks in the storage area again. I really wish they wouldn't do that. But never mind. So we are going to send them to the quarry. Abhijit, Melissa, Guppy and Brenda are going. But we are not going to follow them. We are going to see how they did at the quarry in the next episode. And we are going to stay home with the survivors that are going to stay home today. So Abhijit is going to return in 8.5 hours. They're usually home a little bit before that. Which will give us some time to look at the items that they crafted this morning. So let's start with the grinder. I wanted to have like a stonemason corner on the back side of this shed. So we're going to put this trash in Abhijit's inventory. They would have probably moved that inside in their cleaning hour this morning in the shed. So yeah, we are going to place the grinder. Yeah, here it is. Let's see what color we want it to be. I think something like this. Yeah, that's perfect. And we'll have the stonemason thing right next to it. Where is it? Here it is. The stone refining and sculpting workspace. As of right now, I don't think anyone can use it because they lack the necessary skills, but they will be able to do so soon. So yeah, we've got the grinder and the sculpting thing. And once Guppy comes home, let's see, he can stock these with some stone. And they can start working on those. Yeah, we are going to use one of these tables in the craft, and we are going to use a set of planks in this craft, and we are going to use 3 wooden components in here. It's really not carved in stone or anything. It's just the amount that I thought was reasonable. So then we have the And this is a special item. So there was always this area which was supposed to be like an old bathroom. We had the buckets of water right here where they could wash themselves, but we have a new item now that Abhijit crafted this morning, and it's actually thanks to the addict who let us use a project that she's working on, which is a bathtub, a reusable bathtub, and it's so cool. So we are going to get rid of this. We are also going to get rid of the hoops and the wooden components that would have been used in this craft. And this is going to give us here it is, and it comes in 5 colors. I think it really looks amazing. It's the medieval reusable bath, and the way it works is Sim goes up to the bath and has to have 3 buckets of water, and then it's going to fill the bathtub with that water, and 3 Sims can bathe themselves in this bathtub before you have to clear out the water again, clean it, and fill it up again. Well, you don't have to clean it, but you know, it would be nice to clean it in between in between uses. So yeah, let's pick out a color that we like, and I will have an actual sort of bathroom right here. I think, oh, that's a bit too bright. We'll probably go for the darker one. Yeah, I think that is most fitting here. I always struggle with turning the bathtubs the right way. So yeah, so thanks to the addict, we now have a shiny new bathtub that is functional without running water and totally appropriate and fitting for this post-apocalyptic world. And then finally, and I almost feel like there's like a drum roll will be in order, Dee Dee's workbench. Of course, it is way too expensive for us to buy, so it's going to take up a lot of our crafting points. Let's see, here it is, 900. No, that's not the right one. This one is 900. This is the actual Dee Dee workbench. This is the color that I want, so that's what we're going for. So let's see what kind of items Abhijit still has in his inventory that we can use in this. And I just wanted to get rid of these things. Anything that just kind of looks like it could have been used in there. This actually does look like it could have been used in here, but I might want to actually use this as an item, so we're keeping this one. Same goes for the desk. Yeah, and I think we are there now. Yeah, 1145, so that's more than enough. So Dee Dee's workbench. I'm actually so happy with this because now this corner is finally sort of complete. So once Kome comes home, and he is obviously going to bring home some crafting points because he has a salary, so does Brandon. Kome actually does have the skilled negotiator benefit, so he will probably bring home a little bit more than Brandon. His fun is very low, he needs to use the bathroom and he's tired, but I'm sure that he can make a few knife blocks before he needs to take a nap. There's laundry underneath here. I think John might be able to pick that up. The flies are starting to bother me. So we were able to build the Dee Dee's workbench because we have reached the requirement of 5 points in a tinkering hobby. And we also reached 5 points in the nature hobby a while ago actually, which gives us the flower workbench. But not only is it locked because of one of the hiders, so we are going to have to craft it sooner or later before I put the hiders back in. But I do want Abhijit to spend a little bit more time behind the workbench before we do that. So we are going to wait until this afternoon, which is probably the next episode, when we start renovating the outside of this area. So yeah, we're going to have a little bit more patience before we actually put in the flower working bench. But once we do get the crafting components that we need, we will add that one in. And then we have sort of like cashed in all of the achievements that we've earned so far by working on their skills. I think the next one is the easels. Both Brandon and John, I think. Yeah, John is at 4 points. He might actually be able to reach that today, because he is going to make a draft later on. Again, it's going to be the next episode, but it will be on Thursday. Brandon is also at 4 points. So yeah, one of these guys is going to let us reach another achievement. Which is cool, because that is what is going to progress this settlement in these first few rounds. Later on, there are lots of other achievements in the 3rd phase, 4th phase, even the 5th and the 6th phase, which the technology tree extends to. But we won't get into that now. So yeah, these are really the major advancements and achievements that they can get in these first few rounds. All right, and I wanted to add a visible place to keep this firewood that Kennedy has been chopping. We are going to need this when we form the first few households. This is just storage for now. There. And then Kennedy has his inventory freed up again to do some more fishing. So that's also nice. When he wakes up, we could actually wake him up. He should really probably get some coffee and then start chopping down more trees, because I want to get rid of these trees here, and we should probably also get rid of a few trees on the front side. I don't really mind that these ones are here, but we want to free up this area for the vegetable garden. So let's get started on that. We are going to wake him up, give him some coffee. I think Kennedy is just going to collect the coffee himself. Let's do it that way. Because he's probably going to take it on a scavenging run anyway this afternoon. He's joining them, so he can carry the coffee. That doesn't really matter. So yeah, I think I've been talking long enough. So let's... I do know there's a version of this mod where you can actually see a countdown. If anyone knows what I'm doing wrong, or if I'm using the wrong one, please let me know. So we're just going to click that one out of the screen. So Kennedy now has 5 cups of coffee. No. You are not allowed to use that water. I wanted him to drink the coffee. So we'll just place it out here, and he can have his coffee around the campfire. Marlena is warming herself. And John is picking up the laundry. Let's see, did Brandy clean herself? Yeah, she did, and she is now going to sit outside with Kennedy. And yeah, Kennedy is now nearly peeing himself, so let's send him here. And we are going to let him chop down the trees out back. And John is going to join Brandy around the campfire once he has grabbed the laundry. And they are, he's probably going to, yeah, of course he's going to do that, but he's also probably going to tell Brandy about Eli. So John shares his surprise about finding another living human being, and Brandy gently reminds him that she had never lost hope that there were others out there. We simply cannot be the only ones who survived. I won't believe that. John admires her hope for a better life. Whenever the burdens of this life become too much, he is always strengthened by Brandy's positivity. Then Brandy tells him she wants to go and meet Eli, maybe bring him some food, he might need it, and maybe even find out if he knows more about the area. John adds that she should ask Christy to bring her there. She knows the way, and Eli seems to be comfortable around her, and he does want Brandy to be safe. So Brandy promises to be careful, and they get up so that Brandy can continue making a meal for Eli. And John at that moment realizes he is just so impressed with Brandy. He's known her for such a long time, but he just has to tell her how much he admires her and how much he admires her caring nature, and that in the midst of all of this, she is going out of her way to go to a stranger, bring him food and care for him, and he just really loves her for that. He tells Brandy that having someone like her in his life makes him actually want to live life again and not just survive. Brandy gives him the warmest smile, thinking about an actual future together, and before they know it, they have found each other's arms and are dancing around the room as if they are the only people here. And for a moment there, they just sink into a world where nothing other than just the two of them exists. John whispers to her that they will never need to hear real music to be able to dance together, because he hears the music whenever he looks at her. And you can find it cheesy, you may find it romantic, but it sure does seem to melt Brandy's heart. So before we are going to jump back into the game, I want to show you how I've set up a tracker for the building points in a notebook and how we are going to track where the scavenging runs will take us and what we are going to find there. So I wanted to do like a little behind the scenes scene to show you what I use to plan and do the RNG, because there's a random number generator online that you can use, but it feels, I don't know, I think this just gives so much more character to it. And so I ordered this set of dice online, and it's actually a much bigger set, but these are the ones that we're using for this game. So that's what we've been using, for which I'll show you in a bit. I even found this notebook, and I've always been like obsessed with stationery, so I have like a basket of notebooks for whenever I need one. But when I was planning this playthrough and designing it, I found this one. It's just so perfect. And I've been using it to like plan their daily goals before I start filming, because once we jump into the filming, it sometimes gets a little bit hectic and I lose focus. So yeah, that's what this has been used for. And I love it. I mean, it couldn't be more perfect. Like, I could have designed it. Well, I probably wouldn't have thought of it, but it's just so perfect for this game. And then the actual notebook where we have the checklists and the plans that we are following. So this might be a little bit wonky because I'm totally not used to filming like this, but I've got my coffee. I've got my notebooks, I've got my pen, so you've caught me in my natural state of being. So yeah, there's a lot more that we might flip through in future episodes if you're interested, but this is the page that we will use for the building points. So it's nothing special, it's really a simple setup, but we've got the day that the builders are going to work, we've got their names, and their building points. So every time one of the Sims goes to work, they earn a building point. So on this day, they are going to earn 2 building points for a large total of 2 building points. And on the right side, we will track which buildings are being built. So for example, the first town services will be 4 building points in cost. So 2 Sims have to build for 2 days to build like a storage area or a park or some kind of community area. And also the basic houses. So we'll have, just like in Cherry Blossom Springs, I think, we'll have basic houses, medium houses, and the larger luxurious houses. So obviously we're going to start out with the basic cabins, which will cost 4 building points. So in time, these spreadsheets will get filled whenever we play and whenever the builders go to work and build their buildings, and we'll track which buildings they are going to build and how many building points they are going to use. In time, this is going to build at least the start of the town. And then on the next page, we have the Scavenging RNG. So this is the page for the tier 0 buildings, which were the lots that were available in the main HUD. So we've got a little bit of an explanation right here, how they can reach it, how long they will be gone, when it's going to open up. And of course, these were all available right from the beginning. I hope you can read my handwriting, by the way. Like I said, it's a little bit wonky because I'm totally not used to filming like this, but yeah, I'm trying my best. So this is where we track if the lot is exhausted. So if we've dug for treasure. Yeah, if we dug for treasure for 16 hours. And in time, we might do something with the lots. So they might be like ownable shops somewhere down the line. There are no extra supplies or no lucky finds that we are going to roll for. And these are just some resource notes that I'm probably going to cover for the next page, because there might be some spoilers on there. So let's do that. There we go, all nice and covered. And this is the page that you haven't seen in game yet. So we've got the tier 1 scavenging locations. There will be, I have ideas anyway for, I haven't built them yet, but I have ideas for 4 or maybe 5 areas where they can go and scavenge, all with a different theme. So the first one is just a dense forest and everything that you can find in there. So it will be accessible by foot, but it's a long walk, so they will be gone for 28 hours. The goal is for them to leave around 4, which means they would return 8 p.m. the next day. I tested it, and they will probably return around 4, because there's something weird with the time when you use the community time project, or at least maybe that in combination with something else, I don't know, but I tested it and they returned around 4 p.m. So basically they're gone for 28 hours. We have 28 hours of gameplay, but they will be gone for 24 hours, which is fine. And this opens up by what we've seen, the going on a hike with 2 sims that both have 3 nature points, and they discover this area. Of course, we put in like an extra lot for story purposes, but you can totally skip that. You can just design and build a few lots that they can find there, and you don't have to do the story, obviously. So we can track if they rolled and visited it, if they have exhausted it by scavenging, digging for treasure, and in the end, somewhere down the line, there might be reasons why they would want to like rebuild or own one of these lots. So we can go back there. So we've got a mysterious dense forest, we've got an abandoned shack, we've got camping grounds, we've got an old toilet building, we've got a forester's shed, which somehow in my game turned out to be a forester's lodge. So it's a little bit bigger. And an old hunting cabin. Now in these lots we can find like appropriate items that fit the theme. So I will put those in whenever I build these lots. And next to that we can roll for extra supply and lucky finds. So in the extra supply we've got, for this area, we've got coffee bags, planks, tea supply, stone supply, grain, sugar bags, hobby magazines, which we are going to roll for which ones, and candles. And the lucky finds, which are supposed to be like really rare, but are going to show up on this lot whenever we roll for it and we choose to make a combination with the lot that we're going to visit. So I'll explain later, but yeah, so we've got a stray dog, wild horses, a sewing set, art supplies, a wrecked car. We're going to need Eli's tow truck to pick that up. We're going to, if we roll a 6, we're going to find survivors. So finally, we will find new people in this world. And we are going to use the cast points that we have earned so far, which right now is 0. But pretty soon we are going to get cast points by building buildings and stuff like that. So the estimate is that we are going to have 6 cast points by the time that we actually roll for it, or at least I hope we do, because that's when we are going to find the next 6 survivors. We can also roll for a treasure chest and skill books, which is in this area just logic, because that is so rare. So how it works, we roll the dice, and I've done that in advance, so I'll show you, and then we'll cross off in this notebook what we have rolled. So on the in-game Tuesday at 7 AM, we rolled 2 5s for the location, a 2 for the extra supply, and an 8 for the lucky find. On the in-game Wednesday at 7 AM, we rolled for 2 4s for the location, an 8 for the extra supply, and a 7 for the lucky find. And then on the in-game Thursday, which is today, where we are right now in the episode, we rolled a 1 and a 2 for the location, a 1 for the extra supply, and a 5 for the lucky finds. And the way it works is, for the location we need to have rolled the number for a location twice to be able to visit it. This represents the discussions around the campfire and needing at least a few votes for the scavenging crew to make a decision on their destination. For both the extra supply and the lucky finds, we mark the line every time we rolled for it. And once we go on a scavenging trip, we may choose one of the lines that has markings next to it, and we can find the number of items according to the markings. So for example, if we roll for a certain item twice before we choose to add it to a location we are going to, we may choose to double the items that we are going to find there, with the exception of the gas points, because this is always going to give us all of the gas sims in a group that are waiting in a bin and within the story are surviving somewhere as a group. So if we have earned 7 gas points and we are going and we roll this one and we choose to let that be a lucky find, we are going to find all 7 of these sims, even if we only rolled for it once. Okay, so with all of that said, let's take a look at how that looks in the notebook and reveal our first destination. So we've got the 5, 5, 2 and 8 from the first day. Then we have the 4, 4, 8, 7 from the second day. And the 1, 2, 1, 5. So that means that we actually had a choice for the location. We could go first to the old toilet building, or we could go first to the Forester's Lodge. So I already made that decision that we are going to the Forester's Lodge. So that will be our first destination, and I can already see that filming made me go like really wonky. Never mind that. So we're going to cross that off. Yeah, now for now, I think I'm just going to put a marking here that we have visited this lot once. So we need another 2 crosses if we were to go there for a second time. But for now, we don't even know if we want to do that. And then for the extra supply, I went with the planks. So let's see. We are just going to cross that off. I'm going to need 2 hands for that, I'm sorry. There we go. So we will find extra planks on the Forester's Lodge lot. And the lucky finds, we had a choice between a wrecked car, a treasure chest, and some logic skill books. For now, I'm going to keep it a secret what the actual decision was. We're going to see that when we arrive at the Forester's Lodge. So, yeah. Let's get back to the game and I'll see you there. So since we are already an hour into this episode and I usually only make 1-hour episodes, we are going to take some extra time and we are going to use that extra time entirely for the scavenging trip. So we will skip directly to that part and fill in the missing hours in the next episode as flashbacks when we continue with the day at the settlement around 4 in the afternoon. So here we are, everybody is arriving, so we will pause the game before they start doing things. And yeah, so this is the backside of the Forester's Lodge. This is supposed to be a building where foresters would come, stay a few days, work in the woods, and then go home to their families, probably. So this is not really a building that has been lived in, but it has been used as sort of a workplace. But it's abandoned, it's really empty, but there are some useful items and a lot of wood to take home. So we are going to start by setting up camp here, as we always do. And we are going to feed the Sims, let them have some rest because they've had a long walk from the settlement to here. They walked for hours, they're tired, they're hungry, so we're gonna take care of them. And once there is daylight again, so tomorrow morning, we'll start the scavenging and we'll look at the inside of the building. But for now we can just see what we can do with the outside of the building. And you can also see that there is sort of a shed back here with a lot of trash items, but also planks. So these are the extra supply planks that we rolled for. And the logs actually came with this building. So in every building there are going to be resources that we can find that are appropriate for that building. So for the forester shed it was at least a stack of logs, and there's more inside, but I'll show you later. So yeah, let's set up camp, get some dinner in these Sims and get them rested, and we'll take it from there. There, so I think Brandy can serve the soup. I'm not sure where she's going to serve it, but let's see. And Marilena should be able to make a fire here. So let's do that. And then they can all just gather here and we'll see what they need. And it's starting to rain. That's great. Oh good, she did serve it outside. So it would make much more sense they would go inside if it's raining like this. They only have one tent. Maybe it'll stop raining soon. I hope it'll stop raining soon. Okay, so there's a really obvious solution. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but we can just put the sleeping bags inside. And I wanted you to see this lot by daylight, but yeah, it's fine. There. So now Goopy? Yeah, Goopy and Brandy can get some sleep. So yeah, you can see that this was not really lived in. It's a really messy like workplace where the foresters would just use this as storage and just a place to gather their work items and stuff like that. So there are some useful items that they can find inside here, but there's also a lot of trash. I actually do want her to keep this in her inventory so they can eat a little bit more later. We might want to move the chamber pot inside too. No, we'll just put some water buckets inside so they can wash themselves. It looks a bit weird with the rock like this, but it'll be fine, I think. Marilena, use this and wash yourself. And by that time, I think Kennedy and Sandy should be a little bit more rested so they can come outside and eat something. And then Brenda and Marilena can use the tent because these are the two scavengers that are going to do most of the digging in the morning. So after a while, all the others are sleeping in either their tent or the sleeping bags inside, and it's just Kennedy and Sandy left by the fire. I think both of them are like desperately searching for some connection, but I don't really see Kennedy as much of a talker, so I think this is more of a conversation like, good soup. Yeah, great soup. We are so lucky that we have Brandy to cook this. And Sandy's like, yeah, we are so lucky that we have Brandy. I do think that they have a lot of things in common, and Kennedy seems to be talking about wanting a home for himself and moving out of the settlement with all the others. And Sandy agrees that she also has a great desire for some more privacy. So I think I'm going to wake up Marilena, and she can start grabbing these log slabs. Yeah, Kennedy's working out because he really wants to earn his next body skill. He has the wish to earn 4 body skill points. And he also needs that for his job, of course. Let's see if everyone else did eat enough. No, Goopy could grab another plate. Oh, Kennedy gained his skill. Cool. So he can quit doing what he's doing now. He must be really tired. Yeah, he is. Grab another bowl of soup and then he can go to bed. And I think Brandy, being one of the scavengers, would take this time to start cleaning up this shed. Because there might be useful items in here, behind here, and she might want to find those. So yeah, Goopy is going to get some sleep, and I think that Sandy is going to join Kennedy. And I do think that these scavenging trips are not only a good way to find items, but also some time away from the larger group might set the stage for some bonding between the scavenging crew in this smaller group. So that is why we are going to form a group outing for the daylight part of this trip. Okay, so it's almost 4 a.m. I've gathered them here to start an easy outing. So we are going to form a casual group for an outing, and we are going to let all the others join. Ask to join casual group. There we go. So that should do it. They should all join in. Cancel that. Okay, good. So I've removed the plum bobs. So let's check if everyone is in the group. Yeah, they are, because they all have this thing right here. And the only one that is still really tired because he's been working out is Kennedy. So we are going to give him the coffee. Right, he was the one carrying coffee, so we're going to let him drink that. And Marilena wants to be friends with Brandy, so I thought these two could just hang out for a while. And we are going to let Brenda talk about her hobby to Goopy, because why not? Nature, yeah, let's try that. And then, of course, Sandy is going to practice her archery. There. She could also just tell her a joke, appreciate her. This is not going to be easy, I think. They might not get along. Let's get Goopy back out here. And let's have Sandy join Kennedy. Yeah, so now it's a little past 4:30. I think we might even try to let Brenda and Goopy become friends. So maybe we want them to hang out for a bit. Goopy, come back. Are they now going to sit inside? Oh, that's even better. These two. This actually looks quite cozy. Yeah, so we're going to let them hang out in here for a while and check on the others. Let's see, Kennedy. He did drink his coffee. And he is close to becoming friends with Sandy. So I think we are going to let them do that. I don't think he would appreciate or entertain her. So let's just stick to chatting and maybe gossiping. And throw in a brag. See if she likes that. Yeah, they are still not really moving along. Maybe try and hang out again. And once we get to fun, I think we can... there we go. Someone made a friend. Yeah, that's Kennedy. Kennedy did make a friend. Good. So he and Sandy are our friends. We could also try and play Red Hands with her, because Sandy's hobby is games, but she hasn't really discovered that yet. So Kennedy might help her with that. And yeah, I think around 6 a.m. we're going to start digging for treasure. He chooses to gossip about Melissa. Yeah, of course. She's the one that got shocked by the dishwasher. Oh, and Goopy and Brenda are also really close to becoming friends. Neither of them wished for that, but it does help with the outing score. And there's the first ray of sunshine. There's the first daylight. Let's see, we want Goopy to start grabbing these tree logs. And we're going to send Brenda out here to start digging for treasure. So 6 o'clock will count as the starting time, but they will probably take breaks. So we'll let them do this for 9 hours. Oh, she can use this door. I thought she couldn't use that door for some reason. And then we're going to make it a macro dig for stuff. So she keeps doing this, and she will use the bathroom autonomously if she needs to. Let's see, how are these two doing? 26 and 26. It looks like Kennedy and Sandy are getting along much better than the other two. So let's help Goopy with all of these logs. Oh, he can't reach them. We might actually want to do that in a different way then. Okay. We are going to break up Marilena and Brandy. And Marilena is going to join Brenda out here to dig for stuff. And we are going to let Brandy clean up inside and outside to find nice items. So let's see, macro, dig for stuff, and we'll help Goopy with his logs. Unfortunately, he cannot grab them. I think he did grab a few. No, he didn't grab any. Probably because how they are positioned. But we are going to bring all of these logs home with us. And the reason why we can bring home these large items is because we took the cart. So it would make sense that they could use the cart to like bring home some larger items. Yeah, so Brandy is going to come here together with Goopy, and they are going to clean out this shed. And after that they are going to start on the inside of the house. We know that they can hardly reach any of these items, so we are just going to help them out a bit and move these around, so that hopefully Goopy can reach the planks, because we want him to carry all of the planks. And let's see how that goes. Oh, that's much better. So he can reach these. That's good. Can he also grab the ladder? Yeah, he can. Good. What is Sandy doing? She's going to go... Oh, because Marilena is there. Yeah. Kennedy is so attracted to Sandy. And Sandy really does have the one to woohoo. Oh, she's going to charm Kennedy. Oh, that's perfect. I was like going to interfere, but I don't even have to. She's doing it all on her own. That's perfect. Oh, and he actually got a crush. That's so cool. Okay, so now that he has a crush, can we maybe try to woohoo? Probably not yet, but I really want to get rid of that bed inside because they keep trying to use it, and it's supposed to be trash. It's not supposed to be an actual bed. So this is also a good time to give you like a little tour of the inside of the building. Now that we finally have some daylight. So there's like this old kitchen, and maybe it used to be a home once with a fireplace and stuff. But yeah, the Forester crew has been using this for storage and just getting their plants, smoking some cigarettes, and yeah, stuff like that. Behind here, there was the old bedroom with so many crappy items behind it. There are supposed to be books in here. Okay, something went wrong with the logic skill books, so we are going to add these in later. They were supposed to find some books right here, and for some reason they are not here. So we are going to fix that. They are going to go home with some logic skill books for John. Also in the kitchen, there's all kinds of stuff that we are going to look at later on. And behind here, there's a room that they cannot enter without cleaning up. And that is where there's some old toilets, but also this little thing that they can use to do their laundry. So we do want to grab that one. And out back is, of course, all of this firewood that we might want to take home. I think Kennedy has been chopping firewood before. He's not carrying any, but yeah, he can just grab these. He can definitely take these home. And we are going to send Sandy to the tent because I do want to see if they can maybe woohoo while the others are working. Let's see. Is Goopy done with the planks? No, he is not. And a pottery bowl? Sure, why not? And select lime. He's just gonna grab everything that we can get in here. And we are going to move Brandy, who is now really sad. Yeah, there aren't any ones that she can. I'm not gonna let her slow dance with any of these guys. Let's have her grab these items instead, which probably means that she's going to light some fires, but I don't really mind her doing that. And I think she would take the vermin. Yeah, I'm going to send Brandy inside to take a nap so we can focus on the others for a while before we start doing the inside of this building. We still have an hour and a half left for our outing, so let's see if we can make something happen between Kennedy and Sandy. Brenda is just taking a break. She's going to continue digging for treasure in a short while after she's done. So yeah, let's see if we can make something happen here. Yeah, their long-term relationship is only 6, so that's probably the reason why we cannot do this. That doesn't really matter. We can get them out of the tent and they can just play some games, I guess. And I think that now that she has been flirting with him, he probably does have the courage to flirt with her. Maybe even admire her? Oh, she did get a crush on him. Cool. And they can play some more games before he starts working, because he actually has some work to do right here. So we are going to send Sandy into the tent, and Kennedy is going to go here and collect this poo. Because yeah, this is actually a sign that there might be some animals around here. So that's really cool, because obviously we could keep the animals, maybe even breed them if we can catch them, that is. And these are really the first signs for Kennedy that there might be something around here that they can use for their own settlement. So he's just going to collect some items, and he's going to walk to this side and discover that there's a bit more around here and back here. So that's cool. He can also get some baits. So he's going to get 20 worms out of this hole. And after he's done with all of that, I think we are just going to let him work out again, because he really wants that 5th body skill. So we'll just let him work on that. So let's see, how are Marilena and Brenda doing? Pretty good, actually. They're dirty, but they're still going. So they started around 6 a.m. They are going to finish around 3 a.m. So they still have 5 more hours to go. That's a long time. We might take a coffee break somewhere in between, but as long as this meter is still going, we're not really in a rush to do so. So then let's just wake up Brandy and Goopy and see what we can find on the inside. I do think that she would definitely take these home. She can't grab those, so we're just going to get those. And Goopy is definitely going to get the extra planks. So we're just going to put these in his inventory. And we have an OMSP right here. I'm not sure why. Let's see, can we grab it? Yeah. Oh, that actually gave us 1. Well, that doesn't really matter. Yeah, so Brandy is just going to clean up, and I think Goopy can grab all of the useful items here. There's also some hoops and things on the counter, so we're going to get these. And we do have to think about our inventory. We have a certain set of inventory spaces available, and we cannot take everything that we find home. Yeah, but so far we're doing fine, so we'll just grab these, obviously the fan, and I think I want to give Brenda the binoculars, because she keeps, it's not in here right now, but she keeps rolling once to go bird watching. So given her wishes to start in the adventure career, I think binoculars would also be fitting for her to have. And let's see, what else do we have here? We've got another skill book for making barrels, so we are definitely going to bring that home. And then there's the rifle. So this is not a functional thing, and we are not going to shoot anything. It's just decorative, but we are going to grab it, and we're going to give it to Brenda, because this is going to play a role in their safety and their calculations for if they're going to run into danger later on, and if they have enough body skill and enough protection to keep them safe. So I do want to grab it. There's some clean laundry right here. I'm not sure why. I mean, I placed it here. I can't remember that I did that. And he's going to grab the empty bucket and definitely a jar of soap solution, even though they can make these themselves right now at the settlement. Sandy figured out a way to do that. Let's see, do we want to give Brandy and Marilena another chance to become friends? They were really far off. I don't think they're going to make it in 40 minutes. So we'll just keep going. Yeah, so Goopy is now admiring the cabinets. Nobody is the owner here. And I locked the door for all Sims. We're going to break through the wall, because that is going to give us the least crafting points. Okay, so we can now send Goopy in here and let Brandy clean up in here too, because, yeah, you might have guessed it, there's also really useful items in here. Let's see, we can grab the rope, and there are some sewing supplies, I think, even though these are not the ones from the Lucky Finds, but yeah, they could be used. I think this is a decoration item, yeah. So are we going to take the trash too? I don't think we are. And I think Marilena is trying to use the bathroom. We could just remove these planks right now. Goopy is standing here, so he can take these home. And that should free up the door to the other side. Yeah, it did. So she can now use that bathroom. She cannot use the bathroom, okay. She's probably going to go outside then. No, she's gonna dig for stuff, okay. And the outing ended. So they are all going to get a mood boost right now. That's great. So they can keep going for a bit longer. And I think maybe Brandy would want to take these pillows, but I don't know how much room we'll have for them. So yeah, let's see if there are some other items that we really want. But it would be nice to grab these items, because the building crew could really use items like these. So we're going to grab these. Yeah, let's grab the shovel too. And let's see, now that Goopy is here, he can grab this thing, because that is one of the items that we really want. Now that we did get some crafting points, I think it is safe to buy the books that we were supposed to put in here. I actually did put them in, I just don't know where they went. So yeah, let's have Brandy take these. These are really important. So these are going to give us logic skills. Technically, we can study any of the other skills too from these books, but we are only going to use them for logic skills. I'm not sure how much items are under here, but let's just keep going. We could also take the chest. I really like this chest. Although it's not really functional. I haven't really been paying attention what Brenda and Marilena have been finding. But yeah, I guess we'll see at the end how they're doing. They still have 3 more hours to go. Oh, and before I forget, behind here is a hidden well. And yeah, I think Brandy should bring home some extra buckets of water. So let's see if we forgot something. So Goopy is out here. Can he grab these planks and these beams? You can leave the mud fruit. We don't need it. And that should probably free up the space to grab the ladder too. Yeah. We've got a few more planks on this side. And we are going to grab the door. And I think then everything is... Oh, there's a second door. Let's grab that too. So this is now completely empty. And these are really like the spare items. We might take them, we might not take them, only if we have room enough before we leave. So we're going to leave those for now. And I guess Goopy can just sit around the campfire for a bit together with Sandy. Kennedy went to sleep. We'll send Sandy in with him. She's also still attracted to Goopy. Is there anything else that we want from here? There's a flashlight that maybe has batteries. There are some pots and pans that Brandy might want to grab. So we'll send her in here. I think, yeah, Kennedy is still in his athletic outfit, so he's going to change into his everyday. That's going to give him some comfort. And then he can take a quick nap. Yeah, so Brandy is going to grab these pots and pans. And the laundry. Oh, and this plate. We might want to give her this plate too. There's still a restriction on the number of spaces that we can bring home. In the end, I'm going to check how many items we can bring home. That's it. So they are going to find the last few items. Peanuts. Cool. And then it's 3 o'clock and they have to stop digging for treasure because this lot is exhausted. So we are almost ready to go. We are just finishing up packing the last items and getting some food in these survivors before they start the long walk home. And I've changed the rules to, instead of 3 pagers for scavengers, I've made it 4. Because even with the 6 of them, I had to make too many choices of what to bring. They've been digging with the 2 of them, so the lot is exhausted. We are not going to come back here unless we have a really good reason. So Brandy now has 4 pages of items. Brenda has 4 pages of items. Goopy has 2 pages of items because he's not a scavenger. Kennedy has 4. Marlena has 4, including the tent and everything. And then Sandy has 2. So we are all loaded up and it is getting dark. It's 6 p.m. We are going to leave in 2 hours. So this was a really productive day, or a day and a half really. This was really a great haul. They found so many cool items and so many useful items. They also built quite a few relationships, and I don't mean only the romantic ones, but there are also some friendships starting here. Yeah, overall just a really cool day. So I hope you enjoyed this first scavenging run and everything that came with it. There will be lots more places to visit in the future in between all the town building and taking care of the settlement, so we'll have our hands full. And I think, looking at Brandy's mental state, that she will be really happy to see John again. We will take a closer look at the functional items that we found here today in later episodes, and of course most of the things that we found while digging for treasure are going to be used in crafting as components. There are some items that we are not going to bring, so there are some trash items and stuff that I left here. We are not going to take these, but everything else we did take. It's been really fun and interesting to see these survivors interact with each other on this trip, because between all the hard work in the settlement, they hardly had any time to do that before. So I really hope that future scavenging trips can also provide that extra time away from the bigger group to get to know one another better. If, there's no danger lurking around the corner, because in the future, that is another addition that we are going to add in the next phase. We'll have to be careful for all of the dangers out there, but we didn't have to worry about that today too much. But right now, it is almost 8 p.m. and these survivors are getting ready to go home. In the next episode, we are going to join the other half of the group again, who stayed at the settlement, visited Eli, and episode 8 is going to be all about reorganizing the pantry, making a vegetable garden, and doing some redecorating at the settlement. So I hope you'll join me there, and I want to take a moment to say I want to thank you for spending time with me. We recently grew to 400 subscribers. I could never have imagined that when I started this. And doing this playthrough has been so much more fun to do together on this channel than it would have been to do only for myself. So I really want to thank you for making this whole experience so enjoyable. You guys make me want to add in more details than I would have if it was only for my own entertainment. And I really feel that sharing this experience on this channel Makes me put in the extra effort to make it just as immersive to follow along as it is to play this challenge. So thank you for your continued support, joining me on this journey, and I hope we get to create many more episodes in the future. I hope you have a good week, and I hope you'll join me and this group of survivors in the next episode. Bye!